My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. Hope everyone's having an amazing Wednesday afternoon. It is 12 o'clock here in San Antonio, Texas. Hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. It's kind of weird because whenever you have a holiday in the middle of the week, it just seems off. I was off on Monday too, right? So to me, it was part of the weekend. Joe Garcia producing today's show. How was your 4th, my man?
It was great. Had a lot of things I got done, and one of those things is getting the pool ready.
That's right.
So we were able to enjoy the pool and have a good time, over the weekend with the family.
Now, are we taking this show to the pool?
I think we're gonna have to have a pool episode to kind of like officially break in what is summer.
I was trying to explain this to my wife. So Joe is telling me that he wants me to do a show floating in a pool.
Yeah.
And do the entire show that way.
Yeah.
How would my microphone work at that point?
We'll figure it out, dude.
You're gonna figure it
We're
out?
gonna figure it out. We'll probably give you like a wireless mic, and you can be on your floaty and do the whole show on the float.
I'll be on a floaty. With a drink, little Buffalo Trace on the side.
We got a floaty nice chest and everything. I got you, man.
Very, very cool. Again, we are live right now on Twitter, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Again, the Acquired Taste Sports Network. We do sports, pop culture. We have a fun time here. It's about 1:15-ish or so. Again, the whole goal is for us to create a sports network. I'm shooting for the day, Joe, of August 7th, of going 2 hours at that point.
Okay.
Because at that point, we're going to be getting into the football season, college football. The NFL camps are underway at that point. Basketball is just around the corner. We have a lot more to get into. So I'm shooting for a date right now of August 7th. So basically 4 weeks from today, to be able to have a 2-hour show here going from 11 to 1. We're doing well when it comes to sponsors.
Yeah.
We have a couple that are legit. We have a couple that are still in the works right now. But this is great. Again, you can follow us on YouTube as well. You can leave your comments as well. Some of them already coming in. Chris Gonzalez saying, okay, Hugh Hefner, talking about the fact that I want to do a show floating. I don't want to do a show floating. You want me to do a show floating, Joe.
Yeah.
Others are we cooking Jeff today? Chris Leha asking that question because Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 will be on in about 5 minutes or so to talk about the Spurs. Spurs back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers in the Sacramento, California Summer League.
The California Classic.
The California Classic. That's what it is. Jeff Garcia again will be on. We have a lot to get into when it comes to pop culture and all. Couple of Britneys. Britney, bitch. That's what we're talking about. One of them, the original Britney Spears. I have some concerns about her because of what she's posted on Instagram these days and stories that I've read about her on TMZ over the past week or so. Speaking of TMZ, Brittany Mahomes.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' wife in hot water again. Did she do something wrong? Reach out to us. Leave us a comment on YouTube. She swam with dolphins, and PETA got their panties in a bunch about it all. So we'll get into that as well. Again, we are live right now here in San Antonio, Texas. 4th of July was fantastic. Joe, I got to tell you a story about the 4th of July.
Sure.
So we go to my in-laws' house, my mother-in-law's house. We do the barbecue, all that stuff. So we have burgers, sausage, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, but just a regular hot dog and burgers type of afternoon.
Yeah, good old American, cookout.
So my mother-in-law brings out this cake that she got from HEB. And she also brought out a pie that she got from like Nadler's.
Yeah.
So we have the pie, which is, just a regular pie. And then we have this cake that is German chocolate. And I love German chocolate cake. Absolute favorite. Don't get me wrong, cheesecake is fine, but I love German chocolate cake. So my son, who's special needs, my son is 21 years old. He has Down syndrome. So he has, I guess, the mental capacity of a 4 or 5 year old. Okay.
Yeah.
Love my boy. He sees a cake and we, open up the box, put the cake out, and he's refusing to let any of us eat it because we didn't sing happy birthday because he associates cake with birthday parties. So we're like, whose birthday is it? It's America's birthday. So we sang the whole happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, America, happy birthday to you. And then he was all excited. We were all allowed to then have cake. Yeah, to then have cake. Let me know when Jeff Garcia is ready to go. But I will say this, 4th of July is about several things. It's about family. It's about knowing what you've got, the freedoms that you have here in the United States. But beyond that, it's about hot dogs.
Oh,
Joey
man.
Chestnut. Okay. Joey Chestnut, this whole thing, 16 years that he has won the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. I want to say it's in Coney Island, New York. The over-under was set at 71. So if you were in Vegas betting on this, you would have lost if you had bet the over, because he has a record of 73. Vegas set the over-under at 71. He chowed down 62 to win the title. Okay, more than a dozen more than the person that came in second place. So they got me thinking, how many hot dogs can you actually knock down in a 10-minute period? And I think it's cheating, by the way, that they wet the bun. Wetting the bun is absolutely stupid, okay? I want to see how many hot dogs they can eat just regular, right? But I was thinking about it. If I was just going to have a regular hot dog eating contest at my house, and you were to give me 10 minutes, I can probably get through 5.
Oh, man.
3 easy. 4, I can stomach 4. Like 4 is going to be easy.
Man, you can get heartburn
Going through 5, though. I think 5. And it depends on the hot dog, by the way, because there are good hot dogs and bad hot dogs. And this is where I get bougie.
The bar S.
I get bougie on this because if I see Oscar Mayer hot dogs, I will not eat it.
What?
I will refuse to eat it because it's got to be the good hot dog, man.
But
It's got to
Oscar
be
Mayer makes like hot dogs that are all beef, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't trust them.
All right.
I don't trust them. They're lying. They're absolutely lying. It's got to be Ballpark or it's got to be Nathan's. If it's not that, I'm not going to eat
No
it.
bar S?
No bar S. No. Bar S where she can find a Culebra meat market. No, it's not that. Where it spoils 3 days after you buy it. No, not that one. But I'm a little bit bougie when it comes to hot dogs. I will admit it. I am perfectly happy to admit when it comes to hot dogs, it better be the good ones. My mom and dad came by my house the other day, and they were like, "Hey, let's make some lunch for the kids." And I said, "Okay, hot dogs." And my mom took a bite, and she goes, "Ooh, you got the good kind." Yeah. That's right. That's right. I can get through 5, but there was this one woman who was out there who I believe was named Lizzie, and they were calling her Glizzy Lizzie. That is hysterical.
Nah.
Okay, because I did not realize until about a year ago that glizzy means hot dog. Okay, in young people talk.
Yeah.
Young people talk. Matt Lerma reaching out, asking us on YouTube, oh, this is where you get bougie. I get bougies on lots of things, man. A little bit. But, I'm also that way when it comes to hamburgers as well.
Yeah, Matt brought up a good question for you, man. Check it out. Put it up on screen.
What's that? Are we talking about the hot dog bun or the bread? Both. Can you consume both? Because that's the thing about the hot dog eating contest there in New York is that you have to consume both. Yeah. But they dip it in water so that it's easier to digest, easier for it to
not dry.
Go down the pipe, right? That's cheating. I bet you the real record's like 12. Okay? I bet you that's what the real record is if it's a hot dog eating contest, like a legit one.
Yeah.
But I want to go to that. My brother-in-law was telling me yesterday, because my brother-in-law lived in Manhattan for many, many years, said that he had gone to the hot dog eating contest over there and had a blast. He said it was so much fun. And it's a spectacle. And it was a spectacle yesterday that almost didn't happen because it actually got canceled and then brought back. It was supposed to be live on ESPN. Apparently there was a lightning issue, a rainstorm in the area. And because of the lightning, they postponed it an hour. Then they postponed it a second hour. Then they said it was canceled. And then they brought everybody back to go ahead and do it. And they knocked it out, the whole 10-minute thing. Again, congratulations to Joey Chestnut, 16-time winner of the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 62 he knocked down. I wonder if you could have done more if he was mentally prepared for it, right? Because if you're told that it's canceled and then it comes back, I wonder if he was not mentally prepared for that.
Maybe not. Oh, we do have Jeff Garcia on standby right now.
Okay, very good. Well, before we go to him, Drew says, I haven't had any Mike's Hot Takes in days. I strap in and more food talk. That's not the sabor I was hoping for. First of all, I do like the rhyme. Okay, Poet didn't even know it. Yanaro says, it always amazes me how their stomach stretches like it does for all those dogs. It's gross. It's absolutely gross. And then they do the hot wings and all that stuff. Absolutely gross. We have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Don't forget to follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. Again, Locked On Spurs is a daily podcast for your Spurs coverage, your Spurs entertainment, everything you want to know, everything you need to know about the silver and black. Jeff Garcia joining us right now. What's going on, Jeff? Thank you for not big timing me today.
Well, you know, unlike you, Jimenez, I don't think I've ever big timed you.
Dude.
I don't think I ever have. Even when you were at ESPN in San Antonio. But it's all good because you're going to make it up today. You're going to be recording with me tonight, so it's all good.
Yes, we are. And that's the thing. I was supposed to do Locked On Spurs the other day, and he says, do it at 6:45. I'm like, yeah, I got you, 6:45. I didn't set an alarm on my phone, and what ended up happening was my wife and I were at Costco taking way too long. And when my wife and I go to Costco, it turns into a date night, you know, because you got to have a slice of pizza, you got to have a soda, maybe a little bit of ice cream. You got to go through every single aisle of Costco and, you know, read the backs of every package of food that they have over there. I love Costco. It's my favorite place in the world to go with my wife. And you texted me and I looked at the time and I was like, oh my God, it's 7:15. I completely big timed you.
Well, Pledger cleaned up your mess, man. So shout out Pledger. He came in.
Yeah, and I heard the podcast. Again, I listen to it on Spotify. So when I log on to Spotify every day and I call up the app, Locked On Spurs is one of my favorites on there. And it tells me when there's a new episode. And the new episode's basically every day. And I was listening to the episode you had there with James Pledger, and you broke my heart a little bit. It had nothing to do with big timing, but you used a phrase.
Oh, here we go.
That I was like, oh my God. You said the Spurs are quote unquote in a rebuild. And then you backtracked and said lowercase rebuild, not uppercase R rebuild. Explain yourself.
Well, it's simple. Are they ready to go? Are they raring to challenge for a playoff spot? Are we back in contention in the West? No. Look, the Spurs also even set themselves from Brian Wright to Popovich that they just want to see what they got before they make any other moves. So they're going to run it back to see how these pieces fit. Obviously, you know, there will be pieces moving in and out this season, whether it be like your Barlows, your Champagny, your Blake Wesley's going back and forth to Austin and back. And let's not forget, too, you know, there's Sissoko. You know, he's a project, a part of a rebuild that they hope he'll be with the Spurs moving forward. So, no, I don't think this team is raring to go starting game one of the regular season. But I do think this rebuild is not going to be as lengthy as many people think.
I don't like
because
the word.
I don't like
the word. I don't like the word. I don't want to hear the word rebuild. I don't want to hear it. I don't like it. I don't like it because, as John Dyer mentions to us on YouTube right now, he has a post that he posted a minute ago asking the question, are y'all okay punting year one of Wemby? Is that what's going on right now? Are the Spurs punting year one of Wemby? Because as I remind Spurs all the time, the Spurs did not sign Victor Wembanyama to a 14-year deal. It was a 4-year deal. And are we okay spending one of those years, as John Dyer, our listener, pointed out, punting and basically saying, let's just run back who we had last season?
Well, that's what they're doing. As of right now. That's what they're – I mean, look at their free agency signings already. From, you know, Jones to Champagny to Mamu. Never even announced Don Barlow yet. You know, he'll likely be next. But they're running it back. If they really wanted to get aggressive, they would have made a swing for the fences by now, at least on draft day that many thought they would, and they did not. So, yeah, I mean, as of right now, this rebuild continues.
Yeah, Colin Reed reaches out to us on YouTube, says, I don't think it's punting year one. I think it's seeing what they have around him right now, which is what we hear from Brian Wright. It's what we hear from Greg Popovich. And I understand that logic. I understand because you don't know what pieces of the puzzle are going to fit together, what's going to be a good starting lineup. I mean, right now, can we guarantee that Trey Jones is a starter? Can we guarantee that Keldon Johnson is a starter? I think there's only 2 players on the Spurs roster right now who have their starting status solidified. Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell.
And I want to add in there Zach Collins.
You know, I think Zach Collins is third on the list as far as, you know, who would be the next one in line. Zach Collins, I want him to start because I want someone to be playing the 5 and not Wemby being that guy by default.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at it, if you were to tell me that Keldon Johnson's coming off the bench, even though he led the team in scoring last year, I would believe it because it's just the roster makeup. If you were to tell me that Trey Jones is going to start and play 30 minutes a game, or he was going to be a backup and get 15 minutes per game, I would believe either scenario because I think that right now, even the Spurs don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a very expensive backup. And he's the highest paid Spur right now on the roster, Keldon Johnson, that is. So that's what makes me think that maybe as of right now, he may get the start over Devin.
Yeah.
Simply because he's the higher paid player. I don't know how that's going to sort out, but you also mentioned too Trey Jones a little while ago. I as of right now on 7/5/2023 at 12:16 Central Standard, I think he's still the starting point guard as of now.
It's weird the way that these puzzle pieces can actually work because Jeremy Sohan is a player out there that we don't know what position he's going to be. Is he going to be a point forward? Is he going to be a power forward? Is he going to play small? What is he going to be doing out there? And I understand the logic behind what the Spurs are doing right now as far as let's just see what we've got. Did these guys get any better over the offseason? Can they actually translate the minutes that they got last season and grow off of it into this new season? I understand all that. But the idea of going out there without having a lot of veteran leadership. I mean, the veteran leadership right now is what? McDermott and maybe Gorgie, if he comes back.
Yeah, if he comes back, yeah. And I mean, I guess technically Keldon is as well. I mean, he's what, year 4 now? This is year 4 or 3? What year is he? The point is that the Spurs do have their light veterans. It's interesting. You got to throw in Zach Collins as well. As far as veteran presence, but the summer league definitely is going to be more pieces to the puzzles to add, if possible, to the roster. Right now, Champagnie seems to have something that this roster severely lacks: outside threat.
Yeah, let's talk about Julian Champagnie. By the way, he played so well. I made it a point to actually learn his last name. Okay, but the Spurs beat the living crap out of the Charlotte Hornets in their first summer league game, 98-77. That was over in Sacramento. Wemby's not going to play his first game until the Vegas game on Friday.
Friday night. Yeah,
on Friday night. But Julian Champagnie, 5 3-pointers, 30 points. He led both teams in scoring. What I liked about what he did a couple of nights ago was he did not hesitate. When he saw that he was open, he had the green light, and he took every shot that was afforded to him. He took it in stride, did not hesitate, even drove to the basket from time to time. I know he was 5 for 12 from 3, but he had an and one at the rim as well that he completed. So he played very, very well. And this is kind of something that he was doing in April of last season. I saw him in Austin, for crying out loud, when the Spurs were playing a regular season game at the Moody. I was like, well, this guy right here is balling out. And then Dominic Barlow was an absolute mid-range god a couple of nights ago. 10 for 13, 24 points. And it's like, wow, these guys are showing that they may be legit NBA players. I'm not saying that they're going to compete for starting spots or anything like that, but there's something to be said about having depth on a team. And if they can provide reliable depth, even if it's at 8 to 12 minutes per game, it's important for them to be balling out the way that they are right now.
Yeah, and look, this is their staging ground. I said on today's Locked On Spurs that you fans tuning in shouldn't be looking necessarily at the final score or halftime score. This is all about individual development. It's really what it is. So let's not forget, Tim Duncan had a horrific summer league play. He had horrible. He got outshined by Big Country Brian Reeves. Big Country made him look like nothing. And of course, so you take that with a grain of salt. And that's why you take the W's and the L's with a grain of salt. You're looking at the summer league too, and I think if you're a kind of a fringe player, you definitely want to show you can knock down the outside shot.
Right.
You definitely want. That's if the Spurs lack anything is perimeter shooting. So that's where Champagny has a leg up right now. I would like to see if Wesley can start knocking things down consistently. So far, not so good. Um, and Don Barlow, just the perimeter threat. That mid-range shot was just falling down. Product of the overtime elite program too.
Yeah, it was a very DeMar DeRozan-esque. It was 15-footer, 12-footer, 17-footer, 18-footer, just mid-range over and over and over again. And it was in stride, and it was catch and shoot. And he was showing a lot there. He was showing a lot of growth. City Sissoko, by the way, just shutting down Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller had 18 points in the game, but a lot of that was junk points down the stretch. Like the first couple of quarters, first 2.5, 3 quarters, Sissoko was just swallowing him up with that wingspan. Oh my God. And that's one thing about Greg Popovich that has been consistent over the course of the past 25 plus years. If you show that you can play defense, you have a future on this team. You can earn yourself some minutes.
Yeah, and just explosive too. I think he was on the verge of putting somebody on a poster. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
It was right. It was Kai Jones right there, about to just detonate on him, and then Kai Jones got a fingernail at the last second. So yeah, I love to see his progress throughout this summer league slate. Obviously, all eyes are going to be tomorrow's game. Friday's game now. Wemby and the Spurs, summer Spurs. And I talked about this in Lockdown Spurs. It's going to go so many ways for Wemby, depending how he plays. People will get sucked into, if the Spurs get demolished with Wemby on board. Like, oh, well, what kind of impact is that? If he does anything that's good, he was going to get criticized for that. If he comes out flat, he's definitely going to get criticized for that. Let's just look at having a Brandon Miller, in his debut in summer league. And of course, the big one is if he shines bright, how much you want to bet you're going to get this criticism about him? Well, that was against G Leaguers. Let's see if he can do it against the NBA. So he's kind of like he's almost, not completely, but almost in a rock and a hard place.
No, he is, because think about the rock and roll status that he has there, and it brings to mind some of the complaints that a lot of Spurs fans had on Twitter over the weekend or the past couple of days about how Champagny goes out there and balls out for 30 points, but the ESPN talking heads will talk about Brandon Miller. Right. And they talk about Brandon Miller because he's one of the top picks. And I made the point of saying on Twitter, look, it's not a diss against the Spurs. It's just no one gives two shits about Julian Champagny. That's the thing. It's the same way about Victor Wembanyama. Whether Victor Wembanyama does good or bad on Friday, he's the headline story.
Yeah.
He is the headline story. Scores 30 points, scores 3 points. He is going to be what everybody talks about, no matter what anybody does. Dominic Barlow can go off for 55 points, and Wemby can go off for 3, and the story of the day is going to be Wemby. Now, you mentioned the point that Victor Wembanyama is in a no-win situation right now. I'm glad that you brought that up. Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Please subscribe to Locked On Spurs on I do it on Spotify. You can follow him on Ken's 5 as well. I like the fact that you brought up a no-win situation, because that's going to be half the battle that goes on with this player. So much so that I'm thinking about it like, you brought up the point on Twitter, the article that you posted about Draymond Green. And Draymond Green saying that the Spurs were setting up Victor Wembanyama for failure. My question for you is, do you believe that? And what do you think he means by being set up for failure? And go ahead.
Oh, no. I would say the hype around him. When you slap the label generational, the next best thing since LeBron James talent coming in, anything less than that is going to be set up for failure. If he doesn't make an all-star bid, is he all that? If he gets stuck in like some sort of bad shooting streak in his rookie season, he can't live it up. No matter what happens, any little misstep along the way is going to be magnified by 100.
I'm looking at LeBron James's stats as a rookie. LeBron James averaged 21 points per game his rookie season, 6 assists and 5.5 rebounds. he did not make the All-Star team.
Yeah. And just how bad, like LeBron was under a microscope. There's a video of his own teammates criticizing him in locker rooms, saying, "Well, he was supposed to be all this when he came out of college. He ain't that." They're talking about who are those the guys who used to pump their heads on their foreheads with the Clippers, Darius Miles, I think it was, and Eric Snow and players like that. So that's how much the microscope is going to be on Wemby.
But isn't that haterade right there? I mean, for LeBron's teammates to go out there and criticize him that way, and then others coming out and just, again, he's going to have a target on his back. Victor Wembanyama will, the same way that LeBron did, the same way that Shaq did, the same way that Tim Duncan did, and David Robinson, and all the generational talents of the past 40 years. Of course, they're going to have a target on them.
Mm-hmm.
But the question becomes, that's a good thing in my eyes, because if you can overcome that, it shows a resilience. We're going to see failures of Victor Wembanyama. We're going to see some games out there where he looks out of place. We're going to see some games out there where he's going to look dominant. We're going to see everything in between. And I think the thing about it as a Spurs fan, we have to think about, is he progressing? Is he getting better month to month? That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for whether the stock market was up or down in a given year. I want to see how good it looks over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about Wembanyama. I think you're right in that people are going to take pot shots at him. Spurs fans are going to get butthurt about it because they're going to hear all this, and they're going to see all the Houston Rocket burner accounts, and they're going to see all the Laker accounts and all that where they're talking trash about Wemby. But we just got to understand, we've been there before. We need to understand that
for sure,
Wemby is not going to be the greatest player of all time out of the gates. It took Giannis a few years, for crying out loud, to figure it out.
Yeah, and also too, look at the projected franchise players the Spurs have drafted, from Robinson to Duncan to almost Kawhi, if everything went well as far as trading him and for him, and of course now you got Wemby. Everybody knows this. Duncan was in a different situation. Imagine Wemby coming in with a ready teammate that has an aged Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, just like Tim Duncan had Sean Elliott, Avery Johnson, and David Robinson. So that's going to really, really impact Wemby's development. It could be good or bad. It could be good, like, you're the guy, here we go. You don't have to defer to all these other veteran Hall of Fame to be players, and go for it. Do what you got to do. Or it could be part of a rebuild. He meant is a development of Wemby to get him to the level of a Duncan or Robinson.
I'm glad that you brought up the past when it comes to this, because that's the thing. A Tim Duncan had David Robinson on the court to guide him on the court, and he had, the players out there early on, like a Mario Ellie, Sean Elliott, players like that, to kind of bring him back down to earth and tell him it's going to be okay. Right now, that mentorship that Victor Wembanyama has is not on the court. It's off the court. It's having conversations with Dave and Tim, and conversations with Manu and Tony. It's different. And I wonder how Wemby is going to progress and mature on the court, knowing that that's where his mentorship is coming from. And that's why I take a look at having them have more veterans on the team would be beneficial. I understand that it doesn't fit the quote unquote timeline, but Wemby is going to have to come out here as the star, as option one on day one. And it's going to take time. There's going to be bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah, look at the NBA player, Draymond Green already. He's openly saying, I know how to stop him. So what does that tell you? These players are aware of him incoming, and they're going to have that target on his back. They're going to be looking at him like, I want that guy.
Target on his back, and then they're going to see that he's 8 inches taller than Draymond Green.
Well, according to Draymond Green, he has the plan to slow him down. So
sure, to bully ball him. To bully ball him.
It's going to be bully ball. They're going to bully him. They're going to push him and shove him, and they're going to knock him to the ground. It's coming. You can see it. They're going to set hard picks on him. And now with the NBA implementing stricter flopping rules ahead of next season, I believe, or they're going to test it out.
They're going to test it out, right?
Yeah, sorry, that's right. They're going to test it out. So that tells me eventually that rule is going to make it to the NBA, where maybe Wemby can't flop as much, on those hard picks. So we'll see, and it's really going to see how much that's going to impact him his rookie season. And by the way, I disagree with Draymond Green as far as All-Star. Like, if he doesn't make an I think Wemby could probably knock on the door of making an All-Star squad this year.
And it'd be funny if it's because of voting.
Right, because of the voting.
Because if you get those international votes, looking back in time, since the year 2000, only 2 rookies have made the NBA All-Star team since 2000, Yao Ming and Blake Griffin. Yeah. So if he doesn't make an All-Star team, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. I mean, come on, man. There are a lot of good players in the Western Conference right now. It's still the best conference in the NBA. And because of that, only 12, 13 roster spots, it's going to be difficult. And it took, if DeJounte Murray could eventually become an All-Star, then that means Victor Wembanyama will more than likely eventually become one as well. Hey, what are you working on these days, Jeff?
Well, working with you tonight on a new episode of Lockdown Spurs. I think I already sent you the rundown. So we have a really good topic regarding, we were talking about more about the Draymond Green stuff, obviously, and get into that or give a reaction to that. Also, too, right now on intensifies.com/Spurs, everybody knows that I'm a big nerd, whether it comes from the movie to the TV to comic books to toys to figurines. I also like esports. And the digital marketing director for 2K Games, which basically develops the NBA 2K series video games, he spoke about how difficult it's going to be to implement Wemby's virtual character into the video game as a pro. He's been on the NBA 2K League video games as an international player. So they have some games, the video games have that little extra option you can play international players. But now to bring them into the NBA side, how they don't know what to do. I have a quote here from the digital marketing director. He says, he's built like a video game character. So what do you do? So there's that on kensfi.com/Spurs. And then, of course, working with you later on tonight if you don't big time me.
I'm going to try not to. I wonder what Wemby's overall rating is going to be. It's got to be high.
Well, the highest for a rookie ever has been Zion. He's got an 81 rating. So it's not going to be too difficult to surpass that. Even if it's an 82, I'll take it just to say Wemby had the highest as a Spur. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and Josh reaches out to us on YouTube asking the question, you going to show up, Mike? I keep reading on Twitter from Jeff Garcia how you no-showed him last time. Sorry, I was.
Well, this is not the first time you've done that, though. Let's put it very clear. You big time me, I believe, 3 times.
Three times. How many valid excuses did I have?
You had one. I believe you were with your daughter on the way to Louisiana or something like that.
Okay.
I remember that one. And then, but the most recent one is egregious. I mean, you should have. I would have taken a Lockdown Spurs with Jimenez from Costco. I would have loved that. The Costco edition.
Holding hands with my wife at Costco. That's what got me in trouble. Apologize for that. Again, follow Jeff Garcia on Cans5, Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. Again, subscribe to him on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, daily content of the San Antonio Spurs. That is Jeff Garcia from Lockdown Spurs. Thanks for being with us.
Anytime.
Now, Jeff did mention the whole thing about him being a nerd when it comes to superhero type stuff. This weekend is the Superhero Comic-Con and Car Show over at the Freeman Coliseum, and I'm thinking about going.
You should go, man. We're going to have a booth out there. I'm going to be with my boys from the Countdown City Geeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I want to take my daughter out there to see what it looks like and all that stuff. So I've got that going on. And then there's a potential concert going on in Austin on Sunday. Paramore is performing. Okay. My daughter loves Paramore. I do too. James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star loves Paramore. They're performing Sunday night, but my goodness, those tickets are expensive. Don't know if I can afford both. So I might ask my daughter, which one do you want to go to? Again, thank you to everyone who is actually commenting right now on our YouTube. The chat is lit up right now. Colin Reed is saying that an 82 to 84 overall rating for Wemby would be fair. Makes sense. I mean, the highest you can get is 100, right? Others reaching out saying, darn, Jimenez no-showed him 3 times. No excuses. And I try not to. Jason says Mike is a professional at ghosting people and events. Wow.
Man, they're calling you out hard today.
Now, we're
dude.
going to have an event pretty soon because we're getting close to having 500 subscribers on YouTube. And because of that, I kind of want to have a little bit of a shindig, where we
Yeah.
all get together at a karaoke bar, some sort of bar, get together and just, get to know each other, if you will, knock down a few drinks and then Uber home, that type of night. But
Yeah.
I want to have that at 500. I don't think that's going to happen this week, though it would be awesome if it did. But I'm thinking next weekend, in about 10 days or so, we might have an event where we can invite our listeners out there, come show out and just have a few drinks with us, man. That would be fun.
Have a little tasting.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get a couple flights or something.
See if you can drink me under the table. Chances are you can't. Chances are you can't.
Well, I've seen you almost drink half a bottle of Buffalo Trace and you were sick.
Tell you a quick story real fast about me and my drinking. I lived in Corpus Christi for a couple of years, and I was a TV news reporter over there many, many years ago. And my apartment was right next to a middle school. And I was trying to tell them that there's certain alcohols that get me drunk real fast and others that take forever. And for me, I can drink tequila all day long and do your taxes, right? It does nothing to me. It makes me happy, but it doesn't get me drunk. And I was trying to make a point. Now, this is when I was skinny Jimenez, right? This was 45, 50 pounds ago Jimenez. Yeah. And I made a joke. I made a comment where I said, I bet you I could have 10 shots of tequila and go run a mile and be back in my chair in 15 minutes. And they're like, no way. So they lined up the shots and everyone bet $50. There were 6 people who did. Now, $300 to me at that time was a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me now.
Yeah.
But $300 when you're in your early to mid 20s, good God, that's a lot of money. And they're like, you're not even going to get through the shot portion. I'm like, knock down shot after shot after shot. Ran out the door, jumped the fence of the middle school, ran a mile, jumped the fence back, came back with like a minute and a half time. And they said, okay, you can't get sick. Because if you get sick, you lose. So they were all trying to pretend like they were throwing up, pretend like they were getting sick so that I would get sick. But I was like, dude, tequila does nothing to me. Give me some more. Okay. But you give me 2 shots of vodka and I'm fighting somebody.
Ah, there you go.
That is my fighting alcohol.
That
right
brings
there.
the demon out. Oh, here's a message too. I'm gonna read this from Drew.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey Joe, speaking of the other podcast you're on, is 2 Shots podcast and permanent hiatus now that you're doing this thing with Mike?" Actually, no. I was taking a little break from 2 Shots, which I normally do every summer, just to go ahead and decompress and spend some time with the family, get away from social media a little bit, and then we're gonna come back even better and stronger. We have some other people that are going to be joining, and we're going to be cranking out some content here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
You were off yesterday, or actually Monday, and I decided to take YouTube out for a spin. I went for a walk, and then they're like, the chat's not working. You didn't turn the chat on. And I was trying to figure it all out because I'm not the most tech savvy guy in the world, but I'm not stupid when it comes to it. But I'm walking around, my phone overheated. I went back home, I put on my headsets, and I was able to have an hour-long YouTube chat session going back and forth. Jeff Garcia appeared on there as well. So I want to do that simply because if you call in sick one day or you want to go on vacation, I need to have some sort of outlet, right? The show must go on.
Yeah.
So I got to figure that out. But that was pretty
well,
cool.
I got a better solution. We'll give you some training
There
on the
you go.
platform that I use. So, and I'll give you the keys to the car, so to speak, the login info.
Yeah.
You can go log in and the show will continue.
Let's show some love to our sponsor, Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate. Cynthia Sanchez has been a realtor in San Antonio for 16 years. She is my personal realtor. I have bought multiple homes from her. She does a fantastic job. She does have a special offer this week, and I find this to be an amazing offer. Phone number is on there, 210-273-0748. If you purchase a home from her, okay, and you give her a call. You don't have to buy it this week, but just reach out to her and be in her system this week, and you become a client of hers. She will purchase for you a free 1-year home warranty plan on any home purchase that she represents. This is a $600 value. that protects your home if your water heater, dishwasher, air conditioner, or other mechanical appliances break down due to wear and tear. The warranty covers so much more than that. Reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez of JPAR Real Estate, 210-273-0748. That's a big deal. A warranty is a big deal because no one wants to have a $2,000 bill because the AC goes out. No one wants to have to replace a $1,000 dishwasher because that goes out. Again, she will pay for a 1-year home warranty plan on your behalf if she is your realtor. Very cool. 210-273-0748.
We got a comment here from Chris Gonzalez, and it has me laughing over here. He's talking about you trying to do your live stream, and he says, "You mean his elementary school headset?" Why are they giving you so much flack for the headset?
Crap about that. Okay, first of all, the headset I have is a Sony. Okay, and I got it over at Guitar Center.
It's a good quality
It's
headset.
a very good quality headset, and it comes with a Focusrite
USB
box.
audio interface.
Yeah, it's very good, but they're like, oh, it's so bulky. It's no different than what I'm wearing now. Like, dude, this is the exact same thing that I'm wearing. And they gave me so much crap. Is it because right now when I do this show, the camera is so far out that it looks like it's a smaller headset? Because if you were to bring that camera up to right here, it would be the exact same thing. It'd be the exact same thing.
I mean, the audio sounded good. I mean,
well, Focusrite. They know what they're doing.
I mean, we use that here in the studio
That's
too.
exactly what we use in the studio. By the way, heads up, Friday, we have a special guest. Ricardo Fernandez will be on. And if you go, well, who the hell is Ricardo Fernandez? He is in the Marines. He is a Spurs fan, and you love him and know him, or you hate him and know him as Spurnandez.
His alter ego.
His alter ego on Spurs Twitter. Spurnandez will be with us on Friday, coming at us from Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where the Spurs Summer League is taking place. He's going to be in attendance for Victor Wembanyama's first game as a Spur. I know it's a Summer League game, but his first time we get to see him in the uniform and actually play a game.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Spurnandez about a year ago in San Diego. I was out there on vacation, and he is stationed out there, and we got to go. We met up, had some drinks, and I've invited them all. The thing about it is the Spurnandez, he's an instigator. He's a complete instigator. Okay, he likes to get under people's skin. He gets off to it. Okay, I don't mind it because I have the thickest skin of anybody on social media, so I'm okay. But again, Spurnandez will be on 12:15 San Antonio time, 10:15 Vegas time on Friday.
I had him here in the studio a couple weeks ago. We're watching UFC fights, and we're watching boxing. We had like a good sporting night here. It was him and his girl Stephanie. They were here just chilling with me and my boy Jonas. It was a good time, man. He's a good guy, dude. I mean, he likes to get under people's skin, but at the end of the day, he's cool people, man.
Robert Quintero reaches out and says, "The worst." That's what I want. I want that hatred for him. I want the love for him. I want the hatred for him, because that's the thing. That's the thing about being a personality, whether you're on a radio or a podcast. You want some people to love you, want some people to hate you, but just be yourself. Yeah. Just be real.
Let's introduce him as the infamous Fernandez.
He is the infamous Fernandez. and the funny thing is that he instigates, and people fall for his traps every single time.
He's just a necio, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
It's funny, man.
It's part of being from the Marbach, military drive area, dude. That just necios, man. That's just all that it is. Jay said, I hope Mike and Joe sent him a box of red and yellow crayons. You know what? That's how I know this is a good thing. I mean, the number of people who reached out and said, are you sure you want him on the show? Well, first of all, I had him on my show when I was at San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah. Okay.
I had him on there for a Veterans Day thing. He's from San Antonio. He is a veteran, right? And he's still in the military. And the thing about it is that, like, he's going to respect the show. He will.
Yeah.
Because it's, whether you like him or hate him, he is a diehard Spurs fan. You cannot argue that fact. And because of that, this is a guy that was in Sacramento for the game a couple of days ago, who's on his way to Vegas to go check out the Spurs over there, saying that the game's already a sellout. And then he's been going to the Las Vegas Review for many, many years, and it's never been sold out. And this is the Wemby effect. So again, he will be on Friday to talk about what's going on over there. Sorry, lots of comments coming in. Apparently, he is an acquired taste, just like me. Okay, he's an acquired taste. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be
Oh
fine.
yeah, no doubt he'll be fine, man. He's like I said, he gets around, he travels well, you know, and he's gonna respect you when he comes out here. He's just gonna have a good time. And you know what the weird thing about Spernandez is that the guy's actually good when you have him as a guest on your podcast. He's very well spoken and he has a personality for
He
it.
does.
You know, he's a good guest to have.
All right, let's talk about some pop culture. We've talked enough sports.
No.
Let's talk about that Britney. Okay, the Britneys, Britney bitch.
Let's
Okay,
go ahead and
first
bring her
one.
up.
Let's bring up Britney Spears first.
All right.
Okay, because I've been following Britney Spears since she came out in the late 90s. Okay, when she first came out, I wasn't really that into the music, and I'm not going to say that I'm into the music now. Okay, so we're not going to have a Taylor Swift type of thing where I'm defending the artistry of who she is as a musician. When she came out in the 90s, I followed Britney Spears because I was in my early 20s, and she was one of the hottest celebrities out there. She was smoking hot, right? You know, Oops, I Did It Again, you know, Drive Me Crazy, all of those songs that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. She was beautiful. This is what she looks like now. And she posted a video yesterday. I don't know if you can share the video.
Yeah, I'll play it. There it is.
And this is not the first time that she has posted something like this, where she is doing an awkward dance where she's either in panties or a bikini. And just look at her face. She's half dead. And I am fearful of her. I know that I used to be part of a celebrity death pool back in the day where you try to guess which celebrities are going to die. And I'm not trying to be funny about it. But if I had a first round draft pick, I'd choose Britney. This is somebody who needs help. And either A, has refused it, or B, doesn't want it. And the weird thing about it is that TMZ reported over the weekend that she has not seen her kids in over a year. And that, remember back in the day when she married Kevin Federline? And we thought that Kevin Federline was the D-bag of D-bags. And we thought that Britney was a princess.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Kevin Federline is a good dad and is like, you know, being the real parent to the kids that they had, the two kids they had. Says that he wants the kids to have a relationship with her. But according to TMZ, the kids don't want to see her. So he's not going to force the issue. People are asking the question, what does the stamp say? Again, lower. What was that movie? Wedding Crashers?
Yeah.
May as well be a bullseye. But that's awful. That's awful. Look at her. That was one of the most gorgeous women on the face of the earth. And now, do you think that is drugs? Do you think that is depression? What do you think caused all of that, Joe?
I don't know, man. It's just probably just, you know, stress of life, man. It has an effect on the psyche, on the mind, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just, when people are under so much stress and they have all these other things that are being compounded in everyday life, it affects everyone differently, you know? So I'm not going to just go in there and just go all in and start bringing her down, you know? She might have things that she needs to discuss with somebody, a professional, and get the help she needs. But there's definitely something going on.
There's been, I mean, there have been documentaries done about her that did not make her look good. This is somebody who has fought for her freedom, if you will, because, you know, her parents, I believe at one point were in charge of her, both medically and financially. And she wanted to get that independence all over again. She looks awful. She looks absolutely awful. And as someone mentioned about her dad, who's the person on here? Chris Leha reaches out and says her dad effed her up. That is true. And that's the weird thing that you'll find when it comes to these celebrities who come out when they're young, is that oftentimes they have a parent who's overbearing and just ruins their life. I was watching and don't laugh at me, I stumbled upon it on Hulu.
Yeah.
It was a Lifetime movie
My God.
about the cast of Saved by the Bell.
Oh man.
So I didn't watch it because it was a Lifetime movie. It's because I was like, Saved by the Bell. I used to watch that growing up when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then you see how bad their parents were, or at least a couple of the parents were. Kind of sad.
Exploiting them and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about the other Brittany Mahomes.
Oh my God.
Patrick Mahomes' wife. Now, for those of you who've been following me for the better part of the last few years, you know that I hate Brittany Mahomes. And I hate Jackson Mahomes even more. Jackson Mahomes, the brother of Patrick Mahomes, who's dancing around like an idiot, also accused of assaulting a female bar owner the other day. Brittany Mahomes is somebody that I cringe when I see her. There's a couple of things. I don't know, man. She just seems so, I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say the word. She just seems so trashy. Okay. But I will say this about Brittany Mahomes. She met Patrick Mahomes when they were in high school.
Yeah, they've been together for a while.
So it's not like she's a gold digger. Okay. It would be one thing. I would probably feel even worse about Brittany Mahomes if she met him his junior year in college or whatever, like the last year of college, and rode those coattails, right? But she didn't. She met him when they were teenagers. They fell in love, and they've been together ever since, and they have kids. She's somebody who got in trouble because people were pissed off that she was spraying people with champagne, and they didn't know they were going to be sprayed with champagne at a Chiefs football game.
Yeah.
But
she was in the box, you know,
right, spraying people down from down low. I cannot believe I'm going to defend her, because TMZ has a story about her right now on TMZ Sports about how PETA, which I believe stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and that several Chiefs fans allegedly are reaching out saying that she should be ashamed of herself because she went dolphin swimming with her daughter or child. Now, I remember when PETA was a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when PETA was like, oh, well, PETA's there for a reason. There's an importance to it. But now the more I think about it, PETA is the biggest bullshit organization that I know of right now when it comes to trying to fight for something. I can't stand PETA. PETA's trash. And I understand that you want to have animals taken care of, and especially like on movie sets and things like that. No animals were injured in this. That was all of grand importance, and that makes sense to me. But stuff like this, going to an animal sanctuary or going someplace like this and saying that she should be ashamed of herself, that she's traumatizing a 400-pound dolphin because they're in the water with her. No, this dolphin gets this treatment all day, every day. And I even gave you a photo to show.
Yeah.
This is a photo of me and my family at SeaWorld of Texas.
Let me go ahead and bring that up.
Yeah, we were at SeaWorld last August. And my daughter, we're trying to give her an experience, right? And it was, she was turning 10 years old. And my wife, Selena, and I, we took the 3 kids and we went to SeaWorld. And we paid for the experience, if you will, to be with the beluga whale and to pet the beluga whale in the water, to feed the whale and all that stuff. Did we pound on the whale? No. Did the whale seem depressed? No. PETA would look at this picture and call me a complete a-hole for it. Would call me a complete a-hole for it, and would say that I'm a bad father, I'm a bad husband, I'm a bad all that, and I'm a bad influence on my kids. That is what they would say if I posted this photo. PETA is beyond, how should I say this? They've jumped the shark, if you will. Give it an animal reference. They're nothing anymore. Like, if I hear that PETA stands for something, I am no longer standing by PETA. And what's funny about it is that we don't talk politics here on this show very often. I try not to.
Yeah.
But the liberal friends of mine think I'm super conservative, and my conservative friends think I'm super liberal. Is it possible that you could be somewhere in the middle? Because that's kind of where I feel that I am. And I'm looking at these photos of me with my wife. This was a great time.
There's the other picture.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the whale, but it was an older beluga, and you get to learn more about them. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a card-carrying member of SeaWorld of Texas, right? So I have the annual pass over there along with my family. We spend $80 a month for the 5 passes for us to go out there, 4 passes to go out there. The one that I have at LSU, my oldest daughter, she's no longer on that pass anymore. We go out there, and then they allow us to have these excursions with these animals, and whether they be dolphins or whales or whatnot. Ace reaches out and says, I have to just disagree with your take regarding PETA. You know, agree to disagree. PETA to me was a very, very good thing up until about 2010. Then they went out of their minds. Chris Lehouse says you can ride that line of being bit both liberal and conservative. It depends on the topic. It really does. It depends on the topic. Like, I don't trust anybody who's super right. I don't trust anybody who's super left. My friend Brian Groover and I have always said that we can solve the country's problems by just us having a beer and talking about it. You know, because I am left of center, but not far left. He's right of center, but not far right. The answer is somewhere in the middle at all times.
Yeah.
Robert Quintero asking the question, $80 a month. It is $80 a month that I pay for that. If it depends on the level of SeaWorld pass that you want. You could probably get going for a family of 4 for about 50 or 60 a month. But the thing is that we actually get access to the other SeaWorld parks around the country. So if I want to take mine to San Diego, if I want to go to Sesame Place or anything like that, it travels with me. So there's different levels of SeaWorld season pass holder. But I spend about $80 a month. I could probably get it down to $60 if I wanted to just hang out here in San Antonio. Lots of people reaching out saying, here's the Drew Show. ASPCA is greater than PETA. I agree. And in fact, $20 a month I donate to ASPCA. You're going to see that on my taxes. Tax deduction, $240 for the year. I got stopped by somebody at Walgreens asking me if I wanted to donate to ASPCA. By the way, while we're talking about animals, I saw this thing online about how the animal shelter on 151 needs to get rid of so many animals, like they're backlogged, and that they're lowering the price of adoptions down to $25.
Wow.
And it's going to be this whole thing going on from July 6th all the way through the end of the month. I would look into that because I don't know the name of the organization, but I saw some people tweeting about that. I saw a news article about it as well.
And they have that periodically every so many months. And when they have, I guess, an overage of animals at the shelter, they'll lower their prices periodically to go ahead and get those animals adopted, whether they be dogs or cats. But you get a really great value. We have a cat, and we adopted her from the animal shelter right off of 151. And what people don't realize is when you adopt an animal from there, the animal already becomes spayed, neutered, microchipped, the whole bit, you know?
And I feel bad because I didn't adopt my dog.
The
last 2 dogs. Okay, I have 3 dogs, right? Let's see here. I have 3 dogs. One I found. One we bought from a breeder. And then we bought another one from a friend. Like someone who just like happened to have a litter. That type of deal.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a big believer in ASPCA. They do a fantastic job. I love my dogs. Just hanging out with my dogs this past week. Man, I got to tell you what I did this weekend. It's going to sound so super boring. I spent like 2 hours last night cleaning baseboards and doors in my house.
Oh, man.
Like just scrubbing the living crap out of them. It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely enjoyed doing what I was doing last night. A lot of people reaching out to us here on our social media outlets. Again, we're live on Facebook, live on Twitter, live on YouTube. Again, you can leave a comment on all 3 platforms, but I see them in real time if you do it on YouTube. People asking the question about Brandon Miller. So the Spurs were in the first summer league game against Charlotte. Brandon Miller, the number 2 overall pick in the draft, and Brandon Miller just wet the bed. 18 points, yes, but City Sissoko just completely swallowed him up. And Brandon Miller, I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be. One of 2 things is going to happen. He's either going to be a 6-time All-Star, a Paul George type of player, or he's going to be a big-time bust. And I can't figure out which one it's going to be because it's a little bit of both. We had someone who commented earlier saying that he gave up in the tournament. Well, he was hurt during the tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to fault him for that, but my goodness. Taking a look at Brandon Miller, he's got the shot. This is the guy that can knock down 3-pointers at a 40% clip. And he's just, it's so weird for him to be so good and then to disappear out of nowhere. Chris Gonzalez asking the question, what's up with people cleaning baseboards? Everyone in my office said they cleaned them this past weekend. It's the whole spring cleaning thing, dude. I know technically we entered summer about a week ago.
Yeah.
But there's there's something to be said about a clean door. It sounds so stupid, but just spend 10 minutes cleaning a door and see, like, do a before and after photo. It just makes it look so. And now I'm looking at your baseboards. Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, it's a little plastic baseboard here because we're in a studio. Yeah,
they're not bad. They're not bad. Victor Wembanyama, what do you think the over/under is on the number of minutes he's going to play on Friday?
Oh man, I can't even imagine. I just don't think they're going to play him or going to run him a lot of minutes. I think he's going to probably play 10 or less.
That would be disappointing.
I know it will be, but if you're the Spurs, don't you want to err on the side of caution? You don't want your, number one draft picks to get injured. And then what happens if he gets injured? You're going to lose in all that revenue and people wanting to come out and see him, So he's a player right now that's demanding a lot of attention. But if you're the Spurs, what do? Do you appease the fan base or do you run him out there for more than 10 minutes a game?
I would say whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. Again, we're gonna have Spurnandez out here, right? In on Friday. He's gonna be at the Summer League in Vegas, July 7th. I'm on StubHub right now. The cheapest seat right now that you can get for the Summer League game on Friday is $149.
That's pretty steep.
That's not including the fees and whatnot. It's probably closer to $200. And just to kind of show you, by the way, $149, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the price is to go the day before when Wemby's not playing?
$15.
18.
No, with fees.
Without fees.
Without fees. So it's probably closer to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That sounds a lot, right?
5 times the asking price,
People reaching out asking the question, the Drew Show. I have to ask, are you and Elon Musk good now? Or do you want a piece of him after Zucker chokes him out? Mike was jonesing for Twitter the other day. 1,000 isn't enough. Okay, so let's talk about that. For those of you who are on Twitter, and I'm going to go ahead and assume that those of you who are on YouTube are probably on Twitter as well. Those of you on Facebook, probably not. Right? I mean, that's just the demographics of it all.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, I was going through YouTube, I was going through Twitter, and I got capped out on the number of views that I could do. Now, Elon Musk purchased for $44 billion the Twitter platform. And I was angry because I'm being told that I can't view what I'm viewing because they're saying that they're trying to prevent the grabbing of data and stuff like that. Like, it's for your security. It's for your safety that you're only allowed to watch or view 800 tweets per day. But if you fork over $8 a month, we'll let you see 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is, which goes on to show that it's all bull crap. It really is. It was a cash grab. And I had a conversation with a family member who was talking about this and was like, well, I mean, that's his company. He can do what he wants to do. And it's not like that because this is a Twitter is a company that is used by millions and millions and millions of people around the world.
That's how they get their information and their news.
It's how they get their information, how they get their news. And that's also how small businesses function and run. Schools. How schools get their information out. The Weather Channel, KSAT, KENS, Express News, all of them is all done through Twitter, right? So this isn't a company that, oh, well, it's his company. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do with this company. He can do whatever the hell he wants. It's no big deal. It's his company. You go spend $44 billion for it. That's not the point. The point is that this is a freedom of speech issue, and it's also a communication issue. That's what this is. So this is what pisses me off about Elon Musk is that Elon Musk is somebody who has never invented anything. Okay? It's funny because like we all honor Alexander Graham Bell because if you think of Alexander Graham Bell, we think of the telephone, right? He didn't invent the telephone. Okay? Steve Jobs didn't invent the iPhone either. You know, it's just the name that got attached to something. And if you are someone who is already, if you were a billionaire at birth, I'm not impressed that you turned 5 billion into 40 billion. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am not impressed by that. I'm impressed by more of the Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, who went from being a Harvard dropout to being a mega billionaire. I am more impressed with Zuckerberg than I am with Elon Musk. I was telling my family member, I was like, whether it be, and then they come at me with this talk about, oh, well, China is behind TikTok and all that stuff. I don't care if China has anything about my stuff, dude. No one, dude, our cell phone has so much information about us. It's already out there, right? And I was telling them, without Twitter and without TikTok, people's livelihoods will be lost.
Yeah.
Because people's businesses are advertised on businesses are advertised on TikTok. People make money off of TikTok. People make money off of Twitter. And again, it's just ridiculous. Let me read this comment here. 1,000 times a day. If it's not breathing, your heart beating, you are addicted. You're out of line. Nice speech though. No, dude, you're completely wrong. It doesn't matter. Dude, you can scroll through. If you're looking at tweets, by the way, Joe, you know this. You don't know what tweet's going to come up.
No.
You have no idea what it's going to come up. I don't know how many tweets I have. I get on Twitter probably about 5 times a day, 5 or 6 times a day, right? That's how I consume news.
Yeah.
That's how I consume sports. I want to see what Sham Sharania has. I want to see what Aiden Wojnarowski has. I want to see Blogging the Boys. I want to see what Carolina Teague is up to. I want to see what
RJ
Ochoa is doing. I want to know what Maddie Sky is up to.
Or Jeff Garcia.
My daughter's articles, Jeff Garcia, myself, your stuff, your local podcasts. It is a neighborhood of communication. What Twitter was designed to be was a courtyard, a neighborhood where we can all provide data. And then to go out and say that, oh, well, you're going to limit it unless you pay us a little bit more or you get that blue check. And the whole line about it's because of data gathering and all that stuff. But if you pay me more money, we'll be okay with your stuff being stolen. It was all nonsense. But the one thing that I will say, though, is that I asked myself the question, who is bigger than Elon Musk? What company is bigger than Twitter to rein it in? Google, Meta, and they're going to rein in Twitter.
Something's going to change. You know,
they've already started. Coming. They've already started where it's like, where Twitter searches are not coming up and old ones are not coming up. And Elon said they're saying that it's simply because, he's doing what's right behind people. No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's just trying to make money.
He's a narcissist.
Yeah.
And it's a cash grab is what he's doing.
Well, he spent so much, he wants to get a return on investment.
No one pressured him into buying it.
No, I know that, but I'm saying at the end of the day, he's trying to make a return on the investment that he put in it. But even no matter what he does at this point, he's never going to be able to fully recoup all that money.
No, never. And then if he sells it, he's not going to sell it for what he bought it for because it's not worth what he bought it for. Because what makes Twitter function? Ad sales, right? Ad sales make you function. And the fact of the matter is that if you are telling people that they can only have X number of views per day, why would advertisers want to take part in that?
Yeah, you're limiting how their exposure is being, I guess, ingested by the masses.
Yeah, it's stupid. Ace asks the question, how many rounds do you think the Zuckerberg versus Musk fight will last? I doubt it'll ever happen. But whoever's the heavier one's going to win. So I think Musk is the heavier one. Chris reaches out and says, F Elon, stupid ads are wild now. There are ads everywhere, man. There's ads on TikTok. There's ads on Facebook. It's everywhere. That's how you need to get it free. I mean, think about it this way. How long has Facebook been around, right? Facebook's been around for almost 20 years, right? Facebook is also something that, really it's a Gen X, millennial type of thing. Gen Z is not really doing it so much. But if you think about Facebook, how much have you ever spent on it? I've never spent a dime on Facebook.
Yeah, nothing.
And is there a limit to the number of times number of profiles I can see on Facebook? Is there a limit to the number that I can do on Instagram? But somehow or another, this moron has to come in here and say, well, I'm doing it for your own good. But you can go ahead and play in that deep water if you want, but pay me $8 a month. Yeah. It was a cash grab. And it shows that just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're smart. It just means that you have money. Two different things.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. This went old. This went ugly. And then people asking about the phone book. The Drew Show asking the question, Joe, remember the phone book you paid to put your business in it?
Yeah.
Okay. And the 1980s called, said great reference. Phone book doesn't exist.
Yeah, they don't even drop them off at your house no more.
They don't drop it off.
Yeah.
Crazy. Spurs back in action tonight against the Lakers. It's going to be a 7 p.m. tip-off on ESPN. I'm excited about that. Now, again, talking about Facebook versus Twitter, Facebook is a publicly traded company. Google is a publicly traded company as well. Twitter is not. So if he wants to burn it to all to hell and lose $44 billion, then he can. But the fact of the matter is that if he ever wants to get rid of it, it needs to be presentable. It's like a house.
Yeah. I can create a clone of Twitter,
Well, there's other clones out there. There's like 6 or 7 out there that are seeing increased traffic. And some of them are conservative, like True Social.
Yeah.
Others are liberal out there in nature politically. I know Tribal is one of them. But there's others out there that are trying to be kind of the former person who ran Twitter is trying to create a new one.
Oh yeah, I forgot what it was called. It was called Masked something.
Yeah, and then Periscope went down when Twitter got it.
Yeah.
So got all negative, yeah. Why? I wasn't even going to talk about Elon Musk. The guy's a moron. The guy's a complete douchebag. Did you complain when Netflix went from $4.99 to $9.99? Maybe some bitched about it, but it didn't stop them. He's betting on the backlash subsiding. AF Blue, I like where you're going with this. AF Blue 82. Thank you so much for the response. When you're already paying for something, you're willing to pay more for it. But if you're not paying for something and then being asked to, that's a completely different type of transaction. It's completely different. We went to negative town.
You opened Pandora's box there.
I didn't. It's because you posted the comment on there, and I had to go on there. People say, yeah, well, Facebook charges for this, that, and the other. They charge the businesses that want to advertise on there.
Yeah.
And it's a different type of advertisement, because when you charge that advertisement, it can be a video and it can be of whatever length you want it to be. If you do it on Twitter, it has to be under a certain number of characters. It's different. Quit trying to compare apples and oranges. Let's just all agree that Mark Zuckerberg's weird and that Elon Musk is an idiot, and we'll just be fine with it. Okay. That is Joe Garcia. My name is Mike Jimenez. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, Spurs play tonight against the Lakers. Wemby plays Friday night. That's when we'll have Chris Leha out there. And Chris Leha will have Fernandez out there. Chris Leha's always on our comments, our threads. I saw his name. The other Hispanic. And then also we have some other potential guests coming in the next week or so that I'm in communications with as well. Again, don't forget our sponsor, Cynthia J. Sanchez, offering a free 1-year home warranty plan. If you purchase a home through her, this is a $600 value. It covers the water heater, dishwasher, AC, other mechanical appliances that may break down to wear and tear. Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. And again, Spurs in action tonight. Don't forget to follow Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. He's on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And keep in mind, I'm going to be the guest tomorrow on Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. Thank you to Jeff for being on the show earlier today. For Jeff Garcia and Joe Garcia, my name is Mike Jimenez. Hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday, a more colorful Wednesday, a more optimistic Wednesday. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.